New mic placement. Let's see if this works better. Hello and welcome back to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 102. I'm gonna have to get used to saying 100 for a while. Today, it is the third day of the week, aka the Vampire Killer workout. I'm looking forward to it. I'm feeling all right. My left shoulder's a little bothersome, but not too crazy. It's whatever. I warmed it up, so we'll see how overhead press goes. But I'm gonna have to do a lot of warm up, but it is what it is. Anyways, today, feeling good. Very excited. A little excited to go back to the old regular gym that I go to. Something about going back and to the main routine is nice. So that is nice. Today's weight, 194.8. I boosted up my calories a good amount, so I'm going to keep them up as I have and then just see until my weight stabilizes. But if it doesn't stabilize at a certain point, I'm gonna have to up it even more, which is interesting. I didn't think I'd have to, but right now I'm still going down. I'm trying to see where it'll stabilize, and then I'll figure out. I'm trying to give it like a plus or minus 2 pounds of a certain weight. If I can hit something like, let's say 193, if I can get a plus or minus of 2 of that, so 195 or 191, you know, something like that. If I can maintain that plus or minus and then kind of hone in. But right now it's kind of weird. I was not expected to go this down into maintenance, but it feels great because I could actually eat. Who knows? I don't know what the hell my baseline weight is, so we'll have to wait and see. That aside, today's subject matter, which you've probably already seen from the title and or thumbnail, because I've probably made it already very particular. I did not think I would talk about this again, but there has been enough rumblings in the popular culture, aka the media, that I have to talk about it. And that is the sad state of Star Wars. Now, there's a giant lesson to be learned about the sale of Star Wars to Disney. But we'll get to that later, because I do want to talk about that in its entirety in the voiceover, because there's a whole section I want to talk about that. But for now, it is embarrassing to be a Star Wars fan. If you've ever been a Star Wars fan, it's embarrassing. It sucks. If you are a real fan, if you are somebody that actually, you know, liked the stuff before even the prequels, and or even, you know, read the books or played the games back in the 90s, any of those things, anything like that. I'll even shout out the prequels too, because the prequels, though not great, there was still a essence of passion and care that was there. It was made by somebody who knew through and through his own artwork, you know, and it wasn't made by people who, I don't want to get into it here, but we'll discuss that later. But it is embarrassing to be a fan, and if you are a fan, well, congratulations, you played yourself, okay? You obviously don't understand the entire point of capitalism, and that if they are bringing things out and you're not a huge fan of it, don't buy it. That's what I started doing, especially after the 7th movie, the Last Jedi movie. After that one, I stopped. I completely stopped caring. Not only did I stop caring, but I won't buy anything with their stuff on it anymore. I will not participate in any Star Wars purchasing aside from older stuff, or if I can, I'll pirate it, because I don't care and I don't want to give them any more money. If I can, I'd buy it secondhand just to give somebody else the money. But even then, I'm embarrassed. Like, I don't like wearing any Star Wars shirts anymore because it's just cringy to me. It's like, oh no, you know, even if it is something from the older movies or like older series, comics, whatever, I can't bring myself to do it and to show that I had support for it, because now it's become such a bastardization of itself and a terrible series slash show slash whatever else Disney is trying to milk out of it. It's embarrassing to be a fan of it. And if you're a fan of it, why? Why would you even still be a fan of this? You're not a real fan. You are somebody that got indoctrinated into thinking that this is modern Star Wars. Get with the times, old man. That bullshit. When in reality, there was so much content before their acquisition that was excellent and people wanted to see become movies easily, but then the conglomerate known as Disney decided to take this entire thing that was great and its own world and just spew their own bullshit into it. And listen, I'm not going to be the first person to say this stuff. I'm not going to be the last person to say this stuff. But it is something where it is a visceral feeling nowadays that I have when I see something like this, and I'm like, fuck, man, I am embarrassed. Like, I don't want to have this anymore. I have like a few relics of the past. Like I have a Darth Vader decal on my computer. It's like on the edge there, and I still see it, but I almost ignore it. My brain ignores that because I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want to take it off because then it's going to leave that little marker, like, you know, it's been on there long enough that it's like whatever. But still, it's just like, damn, something even as simple as this, it kind of gives me a little bit of a The other day when I was at Uniqlo, they had Star Wars shirts, and was I gonna get any? No, because fuck that. I don't want to be associated with anything like that. Even making something like this as a video is kind of like, geez, I gotta have to talk about this. But like I said, it's in the popular culture right now, so I want to talk about it. And for those who don't know, I believe it's the new series that they have with the main lead girl, and now they're doing an entire thing about the Force, and then the girl just hates the fans for some fucking reason. They keep hiring people that hate the actual fan base. I do not understand why people think they're Vince McMahon and can just tell people what they like instead of giving people what they actually want. You know what I mean? That is... What is it about, this will probably be tomorrow's episode, but what is it about creators hating their fan bases? Why does that always happen? No matter what the fucking genre of movies, TV, music, something, they always end up hating the people that they attract, which is always interesting to me. But we'll talk about that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow's subject. But for today, to go back, Star Wars, it's a sad state of affairs. I'll probably go into detail as to why it's in the popular consciousness right now, besides the fact that the new show sucks. But I want to get really, really in depth on that because I actually don't even truly know what it is. This is the food truck that is serving the construction workers outside. They use the cucaracha to signify that they're here, so that's funny. But anyways, but like I was saying, I don't know what it is. I don't know what is happening, but all I can tell you is this, and before we go inside and really explore the reasons of the disfiling and dismantling of the Star Wars universe and all that other jazz, I'll say this. All of the prequels, I'll watch. I will go up to Lego Star Wars, and I liked the Lego Star Wars game. I remember renting the first one, like the very first one, and it made episode 1 so great because, and it endeared the first movie because of that. I even watched the re-release of episode 1 when it came out a while back. So it is just sad to see where the mighty have truly fallen, and really fallen out of grace for at least me for a long time, but it's been pretty bad. But we'll get into more details on the inside. Alright, so started this day off with neck curls because the squat racks were being taken as usual, so that's why I had to start there. But anyways, to get back to the main subject matter at hand, this new Star Wars show, Star Wars Acolyte, apparently sucks from what I can see. They're trying to re-envision everything that came before it, which is stupid. I never understand why companies and people like that work on these things end up hating the people that make the fan base, one, or two, they want to make it their own thing, even though they could just make their own franchise, but yet, hey, let's just pillage, rape, and kill the things that people like and say that it's their fault for not liking the new version, aka their view of it, when in reality, they are just defiling something that should be left alone, and or, you know, brought with care, with that people that like it can come and, you know, do their thing with it. But apparently that's not a thing anymore. We can't have people that actually like the franchise do the stuff anymore. That is just not a thing anymore at all. We are not allowed to do that. I saw some interview where like the main girl was trying to make it so like the Force is feminine, some random bullshit like that. And listen, I don't have anything against certain stupidities like that in my media. I don't pay attention to it, and if I don't care for it, I don't care for it. I won't watch it. But I'm also in the mind that why are you trying to force something like that when there is multitudes of novels and things that you can go back on and look and see how other writers have treated it well, that have been widely regarded and revered and all that other stuff. Instead, you just pirate your own things into it and causing the value of all of the stories before it to be distilled. And that is the issue with it all. I mean, really, is that these people who are just creatively dead, emotionally bankrupt, and in it for just the money and or whatever message they want to spread, in order for them to just basically put their own quote values, quote unquote, into a story and devalue everything about it that's already been devalued to shit. So now it's like puking on a pile of shit, to quote a great YouTuber from back in the day. But you know, that's basically what they're doing with these types of things, and it's sad really to see it in such a horrible state. I know that there are some good shows, there's some good things that came out of like the new era, quote unquote. I know The Mandalorian's pretty decent, but that's decent, and I'm not watching that show because I know that at the end of the day, it'll be rehashed and or killed off, because of course anything good has to be killed off by season 2 or 3. So I'm not even gonna care to watch that at all. That's like the only thing I've had a mildly decent interest in, but of course also the over marketization of these things. I mean, that little baby Yoda thing is fucking everywhere, and I get it, it's cute, whatever. They sold like gangbusters, but my god, is it like ridiculous to see probably the multitudes of landfills that are filled with those things, probably because they've probably overmade them. But hey, you know what? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the amount of plastic that's going to go into the landfills and into the ocean made by these corporations when they overmake things because they think things are going to be hits, when in reality they don't become hits, and then they just become giant piles of trash, really. But that's a whole other story for a different day. And it's sad that they never really hire anybody that, you know, likes the franchises, and when they do, they end up just like either firing them or shelving them. A very, very prominent example of this is Henry Cavill. I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he's a huge fan of The Witcher. He was big on The Witcher. He read all the books. They ended up firing him for some weird reason. I don't remember why they fired him, but they stopped letting him work on the show, which is ridiculous because he actually likes the franchise. So why would you get rid of him? He's also a big Warhammer 40k person, and he was going to do a show, I think, on Netflix or some shit. He's going to do a show on it, but they ended up shelving it. Again, it's like you're taking these people that actually care about what the subject matter in the franchise and just spitting in their face because for some reason they just don't fit whatever the hell agenda they have, instead of providing a good product and maybe making buco bucks from all the people that would fucking buy the thing. Of course, they're like, no. We have to have people that we like in this, not people that everybody else that will actually buy it like. No. We can't have that. That is impossible. We're not allowed to do that. I personally hate that entire ideal / every aspect about that. It is quite literally sickening, disgusting, and I hope there is a crash in all of Hollywood's things, just like in video games. I really hope there's a crash in video games, because at least then people that are passionate about these things can come back and actually create things that people are passionate about again, and telling actual stories that people want to hear and see, instead of these watered down drivel things that are soulless and only serve to fit a very niche person's vision of what these stories should be, when in reality these stories should be universal for all. If you want a perfect example of a story self-inserting no matter what the culture is. Just look at Dragon Ball and look how popular somebody like Goku is amongst all cultures of the world. It is quite literally, you can see it. So people self-insert themselves in a story that they like, and that is just one small example of that. Do you remember when insert good part of Star Wars here? And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped. V-bar tricep pushdowns because the V-bar was being used. Every time I wanted to use it, it was being used. Either that or the cable station. So just couldn't do it. So that sucked. But besides that, got everything else in, which was nice. I am ultra tired, but I'm gonna go eat a snack, which is nice. So, to get back to the main subject matter at hand while I have a little bit here. Embarrassed to be a Star Wars fan, my God. Yeah, I think the major thing that I wanted to say about this, and this is what I thought the other day, is that if you, for some reason, are in the ownership of something that is near and dear to your heart, and you can have creative domain on it for the rest of your life, keep it for the rest of your life, and make sure that it does not fall in the hands of somebody who is a soulless corporation that will milk out any type of money to try to get from it and then discard its remains for the world to see and laugh at. I understand why people do it. I understand the allure of infinite money. I understand that. But there are certain things that will just ruin and tarnish certain things for other people forever because of the fact that people decide, all right, I'm gonna sell out and just take all the money I can. There's more to life than money. There are various stories and inspirational things that people look forward to rereading and or exploring, but people will throw it all away for the bottom dollar when in reality they don't even necessarily need it. It's very sad that George Lucas ended up selling his creation, which sure he sold out a long time ago with all the merchandising and all that other stuff, but it was his. The prequels are kind of garbage, but they're his garbage. And with that being said, there is something there with that. There is a certain modicum of care and wanting to make it better. You know what I mean? He realized that the first prequel movie sucked, so he kind of did better on the second one, didn't do that great, but then the third one was excellent. So you just needed a little bit of time, a little bit of guidance on his end, because you could have just probably asked one of the fucking writers from many of the books that had already been released and been like, hey, help me out real quick. And boom, so many movies could have been made by them. So many things, so many stories that have been told in book form that could be told in movie form. This guy went through the wrong play. But it is unfortunately now in the hands of a soulless corporation that does not care about anything but to get money and to put certain people into the forefront of their own agenda-filled shows. It's very, very annoying, terrible for the future of entertainment, not only for the agenda pushing, but also for just general entertainment. Most things suck now, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day, because I don't want to talk about that right now. But specifically, I wanted to just stay on Star Wars. My one big issue with Star Wars is that now it's done. There's nothing to save it anymore. And it's sad, really. It's sad, and I'll never get that one joy that I had, because I enjoyed Star Wars. Hell, the first book I read at the gym here was a Star Wars book, but I had that for such a long time, and it was from a different era of what this entire series was, that now I'm like, all right, I could go back and read it, but it almost makes me sad reading these things as the what if. What if these things were to happen? What if it wasn't sold to a soulless corporation? What if? But instead, nothing. We get this crock of bullshit that is given to us now, and we have no other choice well, if you're still a fan, you have no other choice but to accept it, and that's the sad part. And that's why I'm embarrassed. I'm not a fan anymore. Not only am I not a fan, I'm embarrassed for you if you are. And with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with somebody who may or may not like it. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any thoughts, opinions, or questions about anything that I talked about in this video. I will have a new video tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace.